these opportunities are scary, and don't let the fear stop you from embarking on opportunities.
Hi, my name's Katie. I use she, her, hers. I'm the Assistant Dean of Student Affairs at Warren College. And I know I look very young, but I've actually been a staff member at UCSD for almost 10 years now. And then before that, I was a student and I went to grad school as well. So I know it's been a little bit, but I enjoy talking about these topics and working with students, which is why I'm here.
My name is Sarah Mercedes. I'm a first year student at UCSD and I'm majoring in human biology. And I'm kind of interested in kind of pursuing like a public health med school kind of route in the future and just working with patients and kind of doing a lot of like medical advocacy and stuff like that.
Moises Alvarado Garcia, a professional staff member that works for UC San Diego, specifically for the Student Success Coaching Program. So I'm a success coach over at Warren College, working with about 350 first-gen college students at Warren College. So doing one-on-one coaching, supporting them, and making sure that they're achieving both their academic and their personal goals that they've set during their time here. But just a little bit about me. I do identify as a first-generation college student, Latino that comes from a low-income background, originally from Los Angeles. So I actually moved to San Diego for this position.
I would definitely say that the anxiety or the stress that you're feeling is telling you something, right? This response that you're having means something. And don't ignore it as much as you might want to, or as much as you might want to shove these feelings down, which is something that I do. It's not always great, but I know that it happens. Acknowledge those feelings of that anxiety or the stress that you feel, and know that it means you care. Oftentimes, that stress response is just because you want to have these experiences, because you're excited about these experiences. And so acknowledge that. Don't deny that. But I would also tell you that other people feel the same way, and that you're not alone in being nervous about new experiences. Transitions specifically are some of the hardest times in our lives, and we go through them often. And chances are you've been through them before. You transitioned potentially, into high school. You've maybe transitioned from a community college into a different college or university. And there's many other transitions that happen in your life. Like recently I moved, that's a transition. And in these moments, that's really when you'll feel really stressed out. But it's also when you need to lean into your support system, and know that those people are here for you and care about you. I had pretty intense social anxiety growing up, but I learned how to manage it too. So I think that's also something that I would share in terms of advice, is that you'll find ways to manage and work through your own anxiety. And also, staff are here to support you, right? We're here to listen and learn from you just as much as you're here to listen and learn from us. So if you need something, don't try to hold it in as much as you, like I said, may want to. Reach out and find someone to connect with.
I think it's really important to just like focus on the present moment and what you can control, because there's so much that's out of our control right now, especially with COVID and everything. So, just taking that time, being able to kind of distract yourself, taking a break from the news, all of these conversations around what's going to happen with COVID in school. I think that's really good. Just doing what you enjoy. That could be like anything, like listening to music, reading, watching movies, writing, whatever. I think also communication is super important right now, especially like with professors and stuff. I know that's very daunting because professors, I don't know, like as a first year, it's kind of scary, but they're all like, they're human, they're compassionate. And like all of my professors this quarter have said, like, we're going to accommodate you, they're going to try to do like remote options for students, even if UCSD comes back to campus. So I think that, and then also just generally like, just focusing on yourself, being able to like forgive yourself for faults and having a difficult time. Like it's hard. I'm a very self-critical person. So I know that it's difficult, but just being able to take that time for yourself and not like overworking yourself and just being super critical right now, I think that's really important. Because there's so much unknown. So it's obvious that, you know, like motivation is going to be down and there's going to be a lot of just days where you're like really anxiety ridden and stuff like that. So just being able to do like self-care and being able to figure of yourself, I think that's like my general advice, especially with COVID, and how everything's looking right now.
There's a lot of toxic positivity out in social media. And I believe there's a big distinction between toxic grind culture and working hard, right? I think everyone is working hard right now, and we're just in very unprecedented times that no one expected all these barriers to just pop up, right? Like no one expected a global pandemic to happen. So I would say one, anxiety and stress is a completely normal emotion and feeling, and allow yourself to feel them. Like I get stressed, I get anxious, and something that really helps me is to just take a second, step back, take a breath, and calm myself first, and or just let myself feel anxious. Like I feel like with my partner who I live with, we've gotten really good at just saying like, I'm anxious, I need 10 minutes. Like, okay, like take your 10 minutes before we do anything else. So one, I would say if you're having a genuine feeling, don't let other people tell you what you're feeling, even if it's not directly like through social media or other things. Like feel those things and know that it's okay. Take a second to step back and reflect on big picture. And then from there, tell yourself, what is the first mini step that is the best mini step for me in this moment? Is it being productive and doing work? Is it being with your family and having a conversation? Is it just watching Netflix for 2 hours? Whatever the best step for you is, make sure that you take that one first, but write down like tangible things that you're like, but these are for my goals. Like once I take this step for myself, I'm going to take this next step for my goals, whether that's homework for the day, going to lecture, or even if it's just changing and going outside. Sometimes that's enough.
Yeah, I think you're right that college is a lot more individualized in the sense that it's very driven by you and motivated by you. And so I think that's what makes it hard is in maybe some of your previous experiences, there have been these systems are ready to support building those connections, and college is very self-motivated. So that's, very different. But what I would say is that it's a process, right? If you're looking to build your network and to find other people and build community, it takes time as well. I would also tell you to lean into finding people with shared values or even shared interests. And it can be really small. Like my favorite color is purple, and maybe someone has a purple backpack. Even something small as complimenting their backpack can start a relationship or even start a connection that you may not have otherwise explored. So keep exploring.
Obviously, I'm a freshman, so I'm like seeking out a lot of like opportunities and stuff. But I would say like the most basic place to start is definitely classes. Like I've met a lot of cool people just through, I was taking 3 classes last quarter. So just through those 3 classes, people to study with, to like vent and complain to about classes. And it could be even potential long-term friendships. Um, I think I guess it's hard, but even just like forcing yourself to start conversations with people. Like I met one of my better friends on campus in my chemistry class just by like sitting next to him and talking to him on the first day. And even like office hours, that's a little bit easier because it's like a smaller group of students. For clubs, I mean, again, I think I saw something in like the Warren newsletter. I'm pretty sure some email about the student council. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So I just put myself out there and applied, and I ended up meeting a lot of really like-minded students, which is great, and a lot of friends. So I would definitely suggest if there's like a club or anything on campus, I don't know, I think there's like Greek life, stuff like that. It's pretty easy to find opportunities. So even if it like slightly interests you, just try it. You don't have to, like, you could always just leave if you really don't like it.
it's an awkward process. I think people are always generally people are friendly, but it's still awkward to like go and like introduce yourself and meet new people. So I would say start with what you're comfortable first, whether that's identity, interest, major, like find groups of people in those pockets that you're really comfortable with. For me, it was my cultural identity. So I found a group of guys that were Latino, first gen, low income, because we can connect on all those levels. And then from there, I expanded orientation leader friends, recreation center friends, doing soccer recreationally friends. So I think find your home base on what's really comfortable to you. And that's not you being exclusive to other people. That's just you starting your community, your friends, and the spaces you feel comfortable in.
I think the number one piece of advice would be to like have a routine, like just like a general routine you set around each day or each week. And I think this is especially applicable now in remote learning because it's even easier to just kind of fall into like not doing anything. So yeah, so like maybe like a calendar, kind of plan out your schedule, like write down times you have your classes, due dates for like really big things, tests, quizzes, midterms. And then like I kind of try to block out chunks of time where I can study, or else I'm just never going to study. So, and then also kind of trying to like wake up at a consistent time, go to bed at a consistent time, planning times for like self-care and stuff.
I would say it's okay to put yourself out there. And specifically to my first year self, I would say it's okay to eat in the dining hall by yourself. I think I had this very intense fear of this, and I, didn't want to be seen in a certain way or, be a loner kind of eating by myself, but it's okay to eat by yourself. And sometimes you need to be by yourself, but I think I didn't really understand that or realize that. I felt like I needed to go everywhere in groups because that's what was socially more acceptable. And so that's what I would tell you. I would say don't put too much pressure on yourself. My first quarter at UCSD was not my best academically, I'll be honest. And I think I put a lot of pressure and expectations on myself, to be successful. But the caliber and the quality of the education at UCSD is really strong. And as a result, it means your classes are difficult, but you can do it. You're here for a reason. Your GPA is one thing, right? It's one number that is used in an evaluation, but there's so much more. And I still went to grad school and was successful, even though I had some quarters that I wish I had done better.
These opportunities are scary, and don't let the fear stop you from embarking on opportunities. Take a step back, take a deep breath, and be brave and go for it if that's what you really wanted to do. Because now I hear friends and previous people I went to college with talk about their study abroad experience, and they're still boasting about it 10 years later. So obviously it's a good one. And that's one example, right? But it can really be anything, whether it's major, whether it's friend groups, that club you want to check out, that recreation sport you want to try. Like, it is scary, but I would say we've all done scary things in the past. So to kind of hype yourself up a little bit, it's, think about those moments where you did something scary or brave and remind yourself, like, I've done this before, so I can do it again. This is just a little bit of a different scenario. To learn about yourself before anything else as best as you can. So, whether that's like strengths finders from Gallup or True Colors personality tests or like leadership styles, like really find out who you are, because that's going to enhance everything else around you, to romantic relationships, college experience, career experience, networking. Like, if you understand who you are, you can actually start working well with others because there's an understanding of how you work and and what are your strengths, what are your natural talents. Like, these are things I'm good at, and this is when I do these things, I'm motivated and energetic, so I'm going to try to shape my life around these things, right? So I think when you start understanding yourself in that way, you are actually better able to communicate your needs and your wants and what's going on.
But what I would say is that your anxiety, or my anxiety, similar to my freckles, will not go away. It will always be there. But I go back to this piece of, you learn how to work with it, and you learn more about yourself, and you learn how to navigate and cope with it in different ways. Some of the ways aren't always the healthiest, I'll be honest, right? Like, I'm a stress eater and I know that. And some of that comes from anxiety about different things. But I understand that it's happening now, and I can catch myself and start to rethink about why it's happening. And so that's what I would say, I think, is my advice is just, these things will be there and they're a part of you, and it's okay that they're a part of you, right? Like, they are why you are the person you are, and they are how you show up in the world. They're also why people love you, you know? So I think those are the things I think that I would say and keep as my advice.
I found this quote that I really like. I don't know, it might be a bit cheesy, but it helps me. So it's by Joseph Campbell. And he says, we must let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. And I think that, I don't know, that quote has really helped me. I think especially for me, like, you know, you kind of have like a plan for your life, at least most people. And then sometimes that just doesn't go exactly how you wanted it to. So this quote has just really helped me through a lot of difficult and uncertain times. You know, ultimately, like, no one knows what life has in store. There's a lot of twists and turns, and sometimes things don't work out or opportunities don't work out, and that's okay. You know, you just have to accept that it wasn't meant to be for whatever reason, and you'll kind of end up where you'll need to be, and like, the opportunities that you need and everything to they'll come, like, they'll find you, you'll find them, and there's no need to worry or stress so much. Like, I remember in high school, I used to be such a stress case about every little thing, and like, ultimately, like, I ended up fine, and I'm happy with where I am in college, and I'm happy with where I'm going, and I'm sure the rest of my life will be fine. So there's no point to like work yourself up over so many little things. Like, in the end, it'll work out.
Thanks for watching. Hit the like button and comment with your own thoughts and experiences. If you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe to our channel at Real Life Videos. Let's rehumanize.